Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
What up, peeps? Welcome to it. We're connected. My name is Tiani Ngonyama, and this is the Geeks Connect show. So, if you are a regular listener to this show, you'll know that it's hosted by myself, Misho, by myself, Tiani, and Misho. But today I'm flying solo because Misho woke up late to the show. Unbelievable. I told that guy that you must never, ever party like it's the 1998. You know, I'm just kidding. Well, the parties were not that wild in 1998. But we're going to have a good show today. Yeah, so what's popping? You know, we had been spending a week at the Global Entrepreneurship Congress. It's been big. It's been vibey. It's been exciting. This is the first time in African soil where the GEC was hosted, Global Entrepreneurship Congress, right here in the city of Joburg. There were guests from all over the world, ranging from innovators, data scientists, ministers, premiers, leaders in the industry. They were all here in South Africa to showcase what the world of entrepreneurship is up to. And of course, South Africa, are we ready for the next disruption in terms of technology, in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship? So my Geek Culture team had been there for the past week, and that's where Misho has been actually as well. So he would have spoken about this turn-up and some of the highlights from the Global Entrepreneurship Congress so far. It's been real. There have been many challenges. There have been cups that have been won. There have been entrepreneurship championship challenges. One that I attended was the agro entrepreneurship challenge. It was quite exciting to see the type of innovations in terms of farming, in terms of food security. So that was one of the exciting things that I've attended. A lot of entrepreneurs from all over the world. Africa is also stepping up to the market. It was quite exciting to see some of those innovations, especially the one from Zimbabwe. You should check it out. There are a couple of good innovations, and what's exciting is that some of them are tackling the world of IoT in terms of how do we secure food. How do we make sure that we have water security for more food, for all forms of sectors, that we had been having a water crisis here in the country as well. So food security has to do with water security as well. Anyway, another thing that we had been turning up to, the Raiketsetsa. Raiketsetsa means doing it ourselves. And that's the female initiative of Geek Culture aiming to attract and empower more women into the world of ICT. So they hosted their high tea event last week, Saturday, and it was exciting to see ladies coming together to discuss things in tech. Of course, I was there. They invited me to help them with their projector, Yeah, so being a good guy that I am, I had to go there and help them set up their projector because sometimes you need a guy to help out. But one of the things that they highlighted was that some of these women empowerment initiatives must be run by men. What do you think about that? Connect to us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, all over the social media platforms at Brand Live Radio, at Geek Culture, #GeeksConnect. That's the handle to use. We've got an exciting show for you today. I'm rolling today with just the sound technician in the studio, and it's quite a fascinating guy. But we hope it will work. Yeah, it will definitely work. But one of the interviews that we have today is by Mr. Jeff Hoffman, quite an exciting man. He is a software engineer who has won a Grammy. Stay tuned to the show to hear more about that. It's exciting. We've got the interview for you. He'll be telling us some of his dreams as well. What keeps him going as a software developer out there, as a software engineer, as an entrepreneur, as an innovator? what keeps you going? What makes you wake up and say, I need to go back to my laptop. I need to check those bugs. I need to fix those bugs to make sure that my code works. What's your dream? What keeps you going? Anyway, another thing happening in the world of tech, Sterland, right? You know, the cinema Sterland. So they are in the news right now, and it's not so cool because there's been an exposure in terms of the vulnerability in their systems where about 1.6 million public accounts have been exposed for well, this happened back in the days, but it's still quite a sensitive issue because the world of cybersecurity is more critical than ever, and there are various sectors. Entertainment, obviously, that's one of the key area that is vulnerable. Last week we spoke about the CIA being able to spy on you using smart cameras. Smart TVs, using your cell phones. All types of IoT devices as well have been exposed to these types of vulnerabilities in terms of the cyberspace. And this weekend, we are hosting something called a Safe Hack. So Safe Hack, you know that you have got digital zombies out there. They are out to get you. One question that we are asking, are you safe? Are you safe? Do you think you're safe online? No, you're not. No, you're not. So Safe Hack will be equipping developers with some skills that they need to protect themselves, and also will use the hackathon to bring more consciousness to make sure that people out there are conscious in terms of protecting themselves against the digital zombies, against the cyber attacks, making sure that we build that wall. Yeah. We need a wall. We need to build a big, beautiful wall. And we can call it the Tiani wall, it's fine. But we need to build a big, beautiful wall, a big, beautiful firewall to make sure that everyone is safe out there. Anyway, now this is the part of the show where we get to check out some of the tech facts. But for today's show, we decided to focus it on entrepreneurship because we are living up in this vibe of the global entrepreneurship congress that is happening right here in the city of Joburg. So the first fact for today is, if you charge for your product, traditional marketing instead of social media may be the best way to go. If you charge for your product, traditional marketing may be the best way to go. So we all in the digital world. Every day we're building our own digital houses. Either we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, Twitter, and so forth. We are building those digital houses, and there are different reasons why you go to these social networks. Obviously, to connect with our peers, to connect and check out what's happening. But be honest, how many of you have actually clicked and checked out a product that you saw being advertised? Especially if the product is charging, you have to pay a price for it. It's not highly. So if you have got a product that you need to sell to your customers, traditional marketing might be the best way. So traditional marketing, we are talking, of course, radio, we're talking TV, we're talking newspaper, we're talking word of mouth, we're talking pamphlets, and getting out there to make sure that your product gets to the hands of the people and that people are using your product as needed. Yes, and fact number 2, your first try at launching your product or service will most likely fall short or even fail completely. Now, that's a harsh truth. So the GEP here in South Africa and other world rankings in terms of the entrepreneurship scene, they have always cited that most startups fail within the first 3 years. Most startups fail within the first 3 years. When you have got an idea, everybody believes that their idea is going to change the world. Everybody believes that they are going to be the next big thing. Here's the truth. Sometimes it might not work out as so. I have friends who have failed in more than 10 businesses. So some are still trying to figure out. Some of them are questioning themselves. Did I make the right choice coming into this world of entrepreneurship? How many of you have heard this thing? I want to quit my job and start a business. If I could get a penny every time I heard that, I could have been a millionaire. Yeah. I will probably be chilling somewhere in an island, sipping juice and basking in the sun, Yeah, but it is likely that your first idea may not work out as you want it to be. And that's okay. You need to go through the different phases. So in the past, we've always spoken about the different ways in which you could use to make sure that your product gets the right traction, or at least follow some of the practices that have worked, and make sure that you get to the market first. Make sure that you do not waste time to launch your product. But then sometimes you need to be careful, because you might launch your product too soon. You find that this current market is not ready for your product, because there are those solutions that are developed for the future, actually, of which the current market do not understand. So you need to be careful about that. Anyway, the last fact that we have for you today is you have to kiss a lot of people you don't even like. That's the thing about entrepreneurship, and we've always emphasized the need to go there, market yourself, network with the other people in the industry, make sure that you discover and be discovered. And unfortunately, you have to interact with various people. You'll have to knock on doors. So some of the doors will be shut at your face. Some of the doors might be a waste of time. You just need to be conscious as you go around it. But the fact of the matter is, you will be going around trying to get your product to the people, get funding for your product. You'll need to make sure that you protect your ideas, obviously, but then at the same time you need to make sure that your product gets the necessary support and follows the procedures. Make sure that you study as much procedures as possible. What does the South African law say about the type of an industry you want to get to? We've seen the story of Uber now. Last week, in fact, they've been the metered taxis blocked the highway around the N1. That was quite an interesting story. So those type of things, we have to make sure that we are ready. We get the basics right, and we need to study and understand what is this market that we're operating in. Because you know of the fight between Uber and metered taxis. Uber is not regulated per se, because we're not ready for Uber. We just went with it as a country, and now we have to deal with it, because we need Uber. Most of us need Uber, and it's a great innovation. But the thing is, we did not get the basics right. We should have knocked at many doors to make sure that we consult with lawmakers. And I've always said this, that our policy makers, especially the economic policy makers as well, need to be innovative. We need to make sure that we also embrace the need of using data and provide more public engagement as well, to make sure that everybody is accommodated in this environment, because the land belongs to all. We need to make sure that conditions are favorable for everyone, and everyone can operate as freely and sustainably as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we're going to check out an innovation. We have a segment here on Geeks Connect called the weekly checkout. So the weekly checkout, we check out what are local innovators up to. We check out what are local innovators up to in terms of the innovation space. What are you working on at your garage? What are you working on to make sure that you are making your society a better place and enabling a high economic growth for the country? So today we're checking out a platform called Rent My Posy. So this is what this platform does, right? It is an online marketplace service that enables people to list and rent short and long-term accommodation for residential. So you're going into an area that you don't know, or maybe you are facing some problems. It happens. So this platform allows people to ordinary people to say that I have a place to rent. You can come through to my place and use my posi, as the platform says. So this is part of the sharing economy. This is of course developed by Mr. Morena Mohale, all the way from Kimberley. Yeah, so it's a Kimberley platform and trying to make it out there. So we always try to check out what are young developers working on out there, because we need to make sure that they get the right traction, they get the right support, and they get to make sure that their businesses flourish as needed, because we need to make sure that we are using these types of platforms to make life easy. Hashtag make life easy. And right now, you can go on and check out the Rent My Posi. It's www.rentmyposi.co.za. Rent My Posi. Posi, it's Pozie. Rentmyposi.co.za. All right, now we're going to take a quick ad break and we'll be back after this.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are still tuned in to Geeks Connect. This is the show that connects geeks out there to users of innovation that they build, to industry leaders, to innovation structures and platforms, to opportunities and fellow geeks out there. And this is your show. You can actually connect with us. You can check us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. We'll also put some stuff in there. So connect with us, hashtag Geeks Connect. Right now, I'll just be going through some of the things that entrepreneurs have been trying to make a breakthrough out there, and innovators. Some of us get to have some innovative ideas that we need to push. Let's say it's an innovation that will change the lives of the people, and you need government to be involved in this. But here's the thing: our government, they work on a certain framework. I agree that it needs to change, but the government have a certain framework that they operate on, and they believe that that framework is the one that is needed for the country. We, the people on the ground, sometimes we may not see why the government is going along that way. But I think the best method for us to be able to make the government listen is to look at where is the government's mind at the moment. Where is the government's mind at the moment? There are those good terms that the government like to use. The NDP, you probably have heard of the NDP. I'm not sure if some of you have read the NDP. But the NDP is a national development plan. It's a framework that the government intends to work on until 2030 to make sure that people have sustainable living conditions as possible, to make sure that poverty is eradicated, to make sure that we have digital enablement. You might be seeing this transformation at the moment right now. Talk of the city of Tshwane, talk of the city of Ekurhuleni, talk of city of Cape Town, and all these different cities. Most of them are providing free Wi-Fi. That Wi-Fi is aimed at making sure that people are enabled with digital platforms as possible. You might have seen also the tablets being distributed across Gauteng schools and so forth. That's part of the transformation, and that's part of the National Development Plan. And cities also have their own working frameworks. Actually, they call them the IDPs, the integrated development plans across the cities. That cities want to make sure that they enable the people in the city and enable that environment to make sure that people interact with the city as easy as possible. I saw that the city of Ekurhuleni actually started using libraries to make sure that they are driving digital transformation amongst the young people. I think that's one of the cool projects that the city have taken. But you as an entrepreneur, how do you fit into this? Let's make sure that we read. Hey, let's embrace the reading culture. Make sure that you go and study where is the city, what are they thinking, what do they want to achieve in the next couple of years, and you need to make sure that you speak their language. Yeah, you might have to learn some political terms along the line, but like I said earlier on, you will have to kiss a lot of people you don't even like or know. Yeah, that's the thing about being in the entrepreneurship scene and trying to make sure that innovation flourish as possible. So make sure that you go and study the city's integrated development plans. That they normally post them on their websites. You can go check out what is the city saying about education. Do you have an innovation that is trying to change the education system? Make sure that you align with that. What is the city saying about healthcare? What is the city saying about township entrepreneurship? You never know. Your solution can be the one that the city has been looking for. Of course, there are challenges. We are well aware of the challenges in terms of reaching out to the city, but sometimes just try to understand their language, look at where at their minds right now. Okay, yeah, so now the Global Entrepreneurship Congress is happening in Johannesburg, and one of the questions that came out a lot during the Congress was, so what happens after this? What happens after this big Congress? Understand that over 8,500 people were expected to have attended that conference. I attended the conference for 2 days. It was quite compelling. The Deputy President of South Africa was there. He gave a keynote, and he highlighted something that Africa, your hour has come. I think that was one of the most important things to realize, that Africa, your hour has come. Of course, there's a book that was released, I think 2 years ago, that said Africa is ready for business. Is Africa ready for business? And there have been also these questions that are people born entrepreneurs? It is still a debate right now, but I don't think that people are necessarily born to be entrepreneurs. It was highlighted at the Congress as well that every one of us have the capacity. It's more about enabling it. You need to make sure that you understand what entrepreneurship is about, identifying a problem, getting value out of it, and making sure that you make it sustainable, of course. And it's important to make sure that you are solution driven. You are driven by a problem that you need to solve. Of course, some people tend to be married to their ideas. But like I always say, entrepreneurship is like a marriage, and your business can be the husband, and the husband can be abusive sometimes, and it's okay to leave. You need to realize that this is not for me. This is not for me. It's okay. We can't all be entrepreneurs. We can't all be entrepreneurs because we need to still have people who are strategists, people who are thinking ahead of the future and creating those favorable environments to make sure that people out there are able to operate, to make sure that regulations are in place for various solutions, and everybody is accommodated in this smart growing world, in this digital world. Of course, we can't be thinking all things digital, but then the thing is, digital technology, ICT, is an enabler in almost each and every field. Yeah, if you talk medicine as technology, if you talk the mining space, agriculture, all these sectors are enabled by technology as well. If you talk arts and crafts, you still need technology, and I like what the Innovation Hub did within the Ekasi Labs. They introduced 3D printers, so arts and crafts makers can now digitize their work and have them 3D printed like that. But then at the end of the day, artists need a platform, a digital platform to be able to make sure that they sell their artwork. So, at the end of the day, technology is an enabler in each and every field. But then coming back to the Global Entrepreneurship Congress, the question still remains, what happens when all this is done? Yes, we have hosted the world. It was like the FIFA 2010. That's what the Global Entrepreneurship Congress was for entrepreneurs. It was exciting, but all the vibe is gone now. What happens? I think perhaps sometimes it's good to initiate the conversations, but then we need to make sure that we have taken lessons from the world. We need to make sure that we have evaluated ourselves. We need to make sure that we do not just celebrate, because I think that's what we tend to do sometimes. South Africa, we tend to celebrate too much, and sometimes we celebrate too soon. So we must stop with the celebrations and let's get to work to make sure that this country works. That's the thing. But then one of the things that was launched at the Global Entrepreneurship Congress, they actually launched Africa's Global Entrepreneurship Network, GEN Africa. So there were various ministers from African countries who were on stage. Those ministers had the small businesses departments in their respective countries. And of course, our Minister of Small Businesses, Omel Lindiwe Zulu, was there as well. And they launched the Africa Connect Global Entrepreneurship Network Africa that will aim to provide an active network amongst African countries to do business together. Because at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we are localizing some of these things. We need to make sure that we keep the economy cycling, and most particular, the township economy needs to be rehabilitalized, and make sure that the economy cycles. It cycles, and make sure that we are enabling manufacturers, we are enabling service providers, we are enabling young and upcoming entrepreneurs who have innovative ideas that will change the way we live. Yes, so you can go check it out on social media. The Global Entrepreneurship Congress, #GEC 2017. I think today they are wrapping up some of the activities. I know that they are doing tours in various areas of South Africa as well. But then go check it out and make sure that you try to study, learn from the world. And I believe that we also taught the world something. It's always fascinating to me that whenever these big events are happening, or when the world gathers, they laud South Africa as one of the leaders in terms of the innovation and entrepreneurship scene. So we must not doubt ourselves. We must embrace what we have. We must learn and rectify some of the mistakes we might have made and make this thing work, Yeah, and another thing that's buzzing, speaking of entrepreneurship and all that, the Kalushi movie was released after 10 years in the making. This was by a local entrepreneur, Mr. Mandla Kayise Dube Jr. Yeah, so The movie tells the story of Solomon Mahlangu, and it took 10 years to make. But finally, it's in cinemas right now. You can go check it out. You can go watch it in various cinemas around the country. So that's the type of things we need. The movie is produced here in South Africa, and it's basically South African product shot in different countries. Of course, it was shot here in South Africa, Mozambique, Swaziland a little bit, I think, and also Angola. So go check out the movie. Let's support local entrepreneurship as well, because entrepreneurship is not only about technology, guys. It's not only about technology. There are different sectors, and we need to realize that we need to create a more enabling environment. The environment that entrepreneurs operate in must not be intimidating. There must be accommodating to all, and make sure that everybody finds their shine. You know, I always say that someday I'll find my Tiani shine. You know, like the sun found its sunshine. I need to find my Tiani shine, you know. Yes, let's all shine. Let's keep it going. All right, we're going to an ad break. Then after that, we'll play a jam. Make sure that you grab a cup of coffee. If you're coding, keep coding. And we'll be back with Mr. Jeff Hoffman. It's quite a fascinating man. See you after this.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
All right, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are chilling here with Mr. Jeff Hoffman. He's coming from the US. He's quite an interesting man. We look forward to this interview. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, and thank you very much for having me on the show.
Yes. Just quickly, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. So again, my name is Jeff Hoffman. I am a software engineer. I'm a geek too. That was my degree in programming, and all of my companies. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I had a job as a software engineer in a big engineering company for a while, but I needed more freedom in the company to work on things that really mattered. And so I quit my job, which my parents were very upset, and I started my first startup. So I have been building technology companies for my entire life now.
All right. Yeah, I read your profile on Twitter as well. That nice Twitter handle, by the way, Jeff Speaker, something like that. But can you quickly tell us about Pipeline? What is it, and just for the geeks out there to know more about it?
Sure. So I'll just tell you about two of the startups that I built, because the first product that I ever built as a geek was standing in an airport line, and the line was so long waiting to check in that I missed my flight. So my first startup was we designed and then we patented the check-in kiosk. When you go to the airport now and you check yourself in a kiosk and print your boarding pass, that was our first startup. We went and invented those. Later, so I've done 8. Some worked, some didn't. Our biggest startup ever is a company that's online travel. In the United States, it's known as Priceline.com. Here, you know it as Booking.com. But that's the same company. And we built that startup. Today, that company, Priceline and Booking.com, operates in about 200 countries and territories.
All right, quite interesting. What led you to get into this world of software engineering? Why?
Well, you know, I am one of these. I like the good feeling, the gratification of seeing something work, of completing it. And writing software gives you that, right? Writing software has a finite ending. When you're done and you push the button, and let's say a boarding pass prints, like my first product, it gives you a feeling of fulfillment, that you wrote code that actually does something and makes something work. So I like that feeling of completing it and seeing my work in action. So I got into software because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to program things, and then you push a button and they actually work because of the code that you wrote. That's how I got into software.
Awesome. Software development has motivation. You need to have leisure sometimes to be able to develop something. You might find that sometimes your development leisure is up there, but then sometimes as a developer, you just feel down. You can't don't have that feel, and they need to develop it at some certain point. Can you tell us maybe about two of your favorite books that you think motivated you throughout your journey?
Well, yeah, neither of them are technology books, but both of them motivated me. One positive and one in a way negative, but let me explain it. The positive one was a book called The Alchemist, if you know that book. And it's about a guy that's searching for happiness and heads off across the world and discovers that happiness is right in front of you. Happiness is already there, you just weren't looking in the right place. So it led me to appreciate what I have in life and not worry about what I don't have. That book was one, but there was another book that influenced a lot of what I do. Is a book called The Kite Runner, if you ever heard about it. And it talks about in the Middle East, people that have a very bad life, but it reminded me how important it is for all of us to serve others, to go use your technology skills to make somebody else's life better. Because a lot of people, I would reading that book and I was thinking, wow, I have a nice life and I'm blessed. And there are people that aren't blessed and they need help, and I could use my technology skills to make their life better. So that's how those two books influenced me.
Awesome. Looking at the past, or in terms of the types of systems that have been developed and so forth, where do you think, from the moment that we are, is software engineering heading? What does the future look like? So
I am really excited about all the new technologies, but in software, even though this word is kind of broad, I think it's all about artificial intelligence. And big data, those two things. Using data and real patterns so that software learns and gets smarter, right? If you're doing, let's say you're using some kind of voice tool on your phone, and it keeps this word you say, it keeps thinking you mean something else, and you keep correcting it. If I keep correcting it, obviously that's the way I say that word. You should figure that out. So artificial intelligence and learning systems in medical, in healthcare, in all kinds of fields, in education, being able to use the data to detect patterns and have our software get smarter on its own. I think so artificial intelligence and big data are where we're headed, and I think those are really exciting, because no one knows what to do with all that stuff yet. So for everyone who's listening to this interview that's a software developer, there are lots of innovations still to come for you to figure out.
I've always said that HR departments need to be data-centric. What has been your experience? Do you think that the HR departments in our companies need to change?
No, I think you are absolutely right. That's a really good point, because they're formulaic, right? They have a formula that they made 20 years ago, and they do all their analysis based on old formulas and an old paradigm, and they're not data-driven. So yes, I think that I literally, you'll get a kick out of this. Microsoft has a new CEO, Satya Nadella. Microsoft asked me to come speak at their own conference, at the Microsoft conference. Wow. So there were thousands of people. I went and spoke at it. I listened to Microsoft's CEO talk about, so here's Microsoft, one of the smartest companies in the world, talk about the new Microsoft and the future of the company. And you know what I sat there and thought? I thought, they don't have a technology problem, they have an HR problem. Because the company he's talking about is not the people that they hire. The people they hired for the old Microsoft can't build the new one. So their HR, even their company, needs to evolve its HR to respond more to what's happening in the world today.
Speaking of Microsoft, I know that there are technologies, some sort of algorithms that are being developed now that can basically just take code and build a new application. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that stuff's fascinating. I've seen some of those tools now where you can all but tell it in English what you need, or your native language, right? And it creates that software. I think it's impressive, and I think the good news is it's going to let more people create things that couldn't before. We need more innovators. So let's say younger people, kids that haven't gone to college or university to learn, don't have a computer science degree, but they can still create things on basic platforms like a Raspberry Pi or something. So I think it's good for all of us.
Awesome. Yeah. We are doing this interview at the first ever Global Entrepreneurship Congress in the African soil. I know that you have been speaking at some sessions, and you're still speaking tomorrow. But having gone through the exhibitions, listened to all the speakers, do you think Africa is ready for digital disruption and innovation that is parallel in the other world?
So I really do. I think that the deputy president of South Africa today on stage said it right. He said, Africa, your time has come. I agree with that. I'm on the board of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. So as a board, this is our meeting, this is our event. And we decide as our board, we decide where to host these events. So choosing Africa, South Africa specifically, to host this year's event was a very deliberate choice because we believe that Africa is ready. I've been really impressed with the entrepreneurs in the ecosystem, and then even the government here talking about their support of entrepreneurs. Last time I was here, I've been to Africa 4 times in the last year because I'm so excited about what's going on here. They said, thank you for helping us. Can we do anything for you? And I said, I just want one thing. I said, I want that T-shirt that says Africa Rising.
Oh, wow.
Because I want the rest of the world to know, Africa, you better watch out.
Yes. You know, before this event, I was telling people that this feels like the 2010 World Cup, you know, that we hosted the FIFA World Cup in 2010. So this was, in fact, that FIFA moment for entrepreneurs. Do you think that such events where we gather a lot of entrepreneurs do have that effect to stimulate more entrepreneurship and the capacity?
Yes, but here's the thing. And somebody asked this at the conference today on stage. The question is, what happens after the conference?
Oh, yes.
I think a lot of people, by virtue of the fact that we have representatives from 170 countries here in South Africa and Joburg for this event. So having all that energy together and innovation and intelligence and networking motivates a lot of people, and people get excited. You know, we have thousands of local Africans that are not part of the Global Entrepreneurship Network that attended today. They will get excited, and people will say, I want to be an entrepreneur. But the important thing is, after all these countries leave, and it's back to South Africans in South Africa, the local community has to make sure that the momentum is carried forward and that everybody continues with the great start that happens here.
Yes, that's great. You know, I'm interested in knowing a little bit more about that Grammy that you won in the project that you're involved in.
I'm sorry, which one?
The Grammy for the music.
Oh yeah. So I love music, right? And all the time, even when I would write code, I was always wearing my headphones and playing music. And part of entrepreneurship is taking risks and trying things you don't know going to work, but pursuing your dreams, going after something you want. I always wanted to be involved in music. So one day I said, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. What do? We start things. So I started my own music company. Oh. And I have to tell you, all my friends said, Jeff, you're a software engineer. This is never going to work. And I said, well, not with that attitude, it's not. Oh. And so we got a team of musicians and business people and even me as an engineer together, and we created music. I was a producer, one of the producers. I didn't play the music, but okay. We love jazz, and we don't think jazz gets respect. Jazz's roots are all African.
I love jazz.
Right? So we decided to create a jazz album. And so we went in the studio, got musicians, created the album, produced it, mixed it, mastered it, marketed it. We did the whole thing. And then it was so amazing that in 2015, we won a Grammy. And we won the Grammy for Best Jazz Album. And it was so amazing standing on the Grammy red carpet, because somebody said to me, how do you feel? And I said, you'll laugh at this as geeks, right? I said, this is the dream of software engineers everywhere. And everybody just laughed. They said, what are you talking about? I said, never mind, it's an inside joke. Because I'm a software engineer, and there I was on the red carpet.
I know that our listeners understand that. What would you say is your one favorite piece of technology, and why?
Wow, that's a hard one, because I have an easy answer now. It's my VR set. Okay. I happen to use a Samsung phone, so this one is a Samsung VR. But when I put on that headset and put on the VR apps, the whole world disappears. Wow. So right now, exploring virtual reality is my favorite piece of technology.
Awesome. What is the one message that you will leave the South African developers and all African developers out there?
So it's to use your skills to solve a real problem. If you look around all over South Africa, all over the world, but let's start here. All over South Africa, everywhere there are problems that need improvement. Right? So what you should do is, next time you see a problem, don't complain and go home. Stop and say, can I use any of my software development skills? Can I fix this? And you won't be able to fix every problem, but fix all the ones you can. That's what I was able to do, is look at every problem and say, I have skills as a software developer. Is there any way I can help fix this problem with my skill set? It takes a whole team of skills to fix it, but you're one of the players on that team with your software development skills. Yes. And that worked out really well, because we were able to solve a lot of problems in the world.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show, and we wish you luck with the travels and all the super awesome stuff that you do around the world.
Thank you, and I'm look forward to hearing more great stories of African entrepreneurs.
Awesome. All right. That was Mr. Jeff Hoffman, all the way from the US. He's doing some really incredible stuff. It's very inspiring. As a software developer myself, I'm inspired to do more. His company, Priceline.com, otherwise known as Booking.com. I'm sure you have used Booking.com. Trust me, you have used Booking.com. It's worth $81 billion. Yeah. It's worth $81 billion right now. And this is an entrepreneur who started at a very low level. He was telling his story the other day that he had to quit his job. At some point, entrepreneurs, you find that you are broke and so forth. That's where he was at some point in life. And he worked so hard to make sure that he built the company that he has today. And one of the key things that he highlighted as of importance in building his business was making sure that we have a company culture. He emphasized a lot on that. So make sure that if you are building your startup, your business, and you have got the people right now, make sure that company has its identity, it has its own culture, and everyone within that company must be able to embrace that culture, because culture is what makes your organization super cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick ad break. I'll be back after this.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
Welcome back to the Geeks Connect show. You're still tuned in here with myself, Tiani Ngonyama, flying solo today. Misho, I hope he's up right now because he overslept. Somebody please tell Misho to stop partying too much. But anyway, we're talking about company culture with Mr. Jeff Hoffman. I like the space in which Google has created. Google has this enabling environment. You can get food for free at Google. This culture, it's quite fascinating, and I think it's the way to go in terms of enabling more creativity. And another thing is that your office should not be in a four wall. Your office can be somewhere, anywhere. In a restaurant and so forth. So I normally just go and sit at a restaurant and I ask for two things. Can I sit by the power point, and do you have Wi-Fi? And if they don't have Wi-Fi, I'm out. Yeah, I roll like that. So, because we need to make sure that we stimulate more creativity within our minds, and you find that sometimes you need to do it at a different place, and that's what that is what is more exciting about the world of today. It's so easy to start a business. It's so easy to make sure that you utilize as little resources that you have in making your business work. So right now, we're going to be looking at some of the things you can check out for the coming weekend. This is the Geek Guide. Where are we turning up? So we already spoke about the Safe Hackathon that is happening this weekend. Geek Culture collaborating, of course, with PwC, Telkom, MTN, MLab Southern Africa, being hosted at CoTribe. There is Sense Post as well, the City of Sane, and others. So you can check out the Safe Hack, hashtag Safe Hack. It's happening in Pretoria at the Innovation Hub from Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning until Sunday. So a hackathon, basically there's no sleep. You just eat, breathe, think, and talk, code. You get to meet awesome new people. You get to share what you know, and make sure that you gain something. If you go and attend a hackathon and do not learn anything, I'm afraid you have wasted your time. Make sure that when you do attend those hackathons, you learn something and you take something with you that you can now use. Because we also have to ask the question, what happens after a hackathon? Hackathon have changed lives. They have changed lives of many. Some attend hackathons because they are looking for new job opportunities. Some attend hackathons because they want to meet new people that they can collaborate with. Some are looking at starting their own businesses, and some are looking at if you're working in a company, you are normally just stranded in that office or in a cubicle. You need to step out of the zone and do something fun, because as a developer, you need to always make sure that you stimulate your mind with new things, because you must have a hungry brain that needs to learn more. Make sure that your brain remains hungry and you are feeding it. And a hackathon is a perfect place to feed your brain, of course, your stomach as well. There will be food, energy drinks, some fun sometimes. So hackathons are cool places, and I love hackathons. So see you on Saturday if you are coming. And then yesterday, Geek Culture turned 4 years old. Yeah, 4 years old, and we're still going strong. And it's been a journey, hey? It's been a journey. It's a long one as well, but we are making sure that we keep that digital fire burning. So we'll be doing a lot of work also in the rural areas, townships, checking out the geek talent in the rural communities as well. So that's going to be very much important to us, and we'll still be trying to mix technology with all this different cool stuff to show how cool geeks can be. So do look out for the new challenge in the skateboarding world. So we have an initiative called Skate Hack, so we put tech onto skateboards. So look out for that. It's going to be exciting. The Geek Culture Work program is starting on the 3rd of April until the 12th. So if you have a younger sister, younger brother, teenagers, so they can go on to future.geekculture.com, future.geekculture.com, and they can apply to be part of that program. It's for free, and it will be happening at the Innovation Hub. So what happens at this program is we take these youngsters into a real working environment or a simulated working environment. They get mentored, they get trained, and then they get to build some super cool stuff, mobile apps, robots, websites. They do graphics design, and during the period they work in groups, and we treat that group as a company. So you'll see them developing their own companies. So in fact, last year we had 3 companies registered in the name of by high school learners, and they also have apps on the app stores, which is quite exciting. So do look out for an app called Geeky Traffic, developed by high school learners. And then there are some other apps out there as well coming from the VEC program. So we are excited about that. And of course, in October, the Bloodhound supersonic car is coming to South Africa all the way from the UK to attempt and break the land speed record of 1,600 kilometers per hour in the Kalahari Desert. So we are really excited about that as well, in Hexpian Pen by the Northern Cape. So do look out for that, and we'll also be hosting the VEC program before that also. And Kimberley will also be hosting their first hackathon for the year next weekend on the 25th until the 26th of April. So 053, have a look out for that. It's going to be an exciting one. I'll be there. So if you are in Kimberley, let's meet there and make sure that we build the digital fire, we keep it burning, and find innovative solutions and sustainable solutions that will take our livelihood to a better place, that will transform our economy positively. So do look out for that as well. If you have any other events that you like us to to know or attend or give a shout out to, do check us out. Connect@geekculture.com. That's the email address, connect@geekculture.com. Otherwise, you can check out www.geekculture.com. Do check us out on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and some other platforms as well. #GeeksConnect. Let's keep on connecting. Let's keep on innovating. Let's keep on working together and making sure that we do build and achieve this ultimate dream of Africa being a very competitive continent. And they call Africa the dark continent. It's not because we don't have electrical power. They call Africa a dark planet because of many reasons. We are a little bit behind. We just need to find our feet and make sure that we channel investment and our thinking towards what we need Africa to be. We need to think local, and you need to think like an African in Africa. That's the truth. And you need to make sure that you find your role. If you are sitting right now at your desk trying to code something, if you are thinking, if you are just sitting somewhere just listening to this show, maybe in a shop, maybe in a restaurant, in anywhere, think about what is your purpose in driving Africa towards the planet that we desire it to be. What innovation are you bringing forward? What technologies do you think Africa needs to develop or utilize in making the lives of everyone better? Think about that, think it through, and find your place. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to end the show here today. Thank you so much for listening. Next week, we are bringing someone from Garankuwa. We're looking forward to that show as well, to show you what type of innovations we are having here in the country. Don't miss it. Cheers.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.